of Nevada, the great silver state and the gold. New tales of Nevada, the stories, people working hard to make a home. Old Tales of Nevada.
Hello everybody, welcome to Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. We have a great show today talking about some of the early days and early ranches in the Reno area. Quite a story. We'll be back with it all right after this.
Hey everybody, Dave Asher here down at the Nevada Marketplace in the Reno Town Mall. You know, we all spend a lot of money during the holiday season. Please, this year, shop with Nevada-based locally owned businesses as much as possible. Here at the Nevada Marketplace, we support over 250 local merchants. You're sure to find a perfect gift for everyone on your list. We're open 7 days a week with easy parking and it's warm inside. We're at the corner of Peckham and Virginia. Go to buynevadafirst.com and keep Reno local.
Hi, I'm Dan.
And I'm Paula. We're the producers of the Tanner's Marketplace Antique Show, now at the Reno Sparks Convention Center.
We also want you to know about our everyday location at Somewhere in Time, Antique Antiques, Space 46.
You'll find items from local artists, retro, mid-century, rustic, sports, collectibles, antiques, and much more.
You'll find Nevada art, glass, Native American jewelry, and baskets, unusual to unique items.
Find it all at Antique Antiques at Somewhere in Time, Dealer 46.
Welcome everybody to Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. I'm John O'Brien, the host of the show. We want to welcome you to the show. Along with me today is Roy Marshall, our executive producer. Roy, welcome to the show.
Yeah, you betcha, John.
Yeah, good to have you here again. 300 and something episodes. I can't even keep track. We've been doing so many of them lately.
So many wonderful people in their history here.
Oh boy, do we have one today. We have
history,
Al Oppio from the Oppio family, who go way back in Reno history, all the way back to some of the big ranches that were here in the valley. And the Oppio family was a big part of that. So Al, we'd like to welcome you to the show, and we look forward to that story about your family here in the Truckee Meadows.
Thank you.
Now this was your grandpa or your dad?
No, this was my grandpa.
That's your grandpa.
Yeah, I
all the way from Genoa, Italy.
Genoa, Italy, and I thought we'd start off with this because he's the one that came over as a 20-year-old and came to this country and where you could make a good living, and from a country at that time that was very deprived.
Okay, we're going to get into all of that, Al, but we always go to you, Roy, because you, Roy, tells us why we've been doing the show for about 10 years now.
Sit it up again.
Sure.
Over here.
Just set it down there for a minute. Sure. And you, Roy, tell us why we do the show every week for the last 10 years.
We do this show to make people proud of the state of Nevada, because a lot of people don't realize that the state was very important to the formation of the United States of America. Because after the Civil War, the United States was totally broke under Abraham Lincoln and owed $8 to $9 million for which nobody had. So the Comstock miners came up with those funds, and from those funds the state of Nevada became formed, as well as down the road the first dollar became invented in the state, and mostly from silver from the Comstock and gold. And they were some of the most valuable coins, still are.
Still are, thousands and thousands of dollars for those CC coins.
Yeah. So this state basically invented the unit of the dollar, which has been spread all over the world. So knowing these things should make people proud to be here.
For sure.
The state produces about 10% of all the gold in the world each year, and about 35 to 55 million ounces of silver per month.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing,
so it's a big producer of metals.
Yeah, people don't realize that because we all came, many of us came from other places, you know. You're from Texas, I'm from New Jersey, and came out to Nevada, you know, and we just never were privy to the history that happened here in Nevada. So this show focuses on all of that, you know. We're trying to build pride in living here in Nevada, and the history is so rich that you can't help but have pride after you know about it, you know. So Roy not only is doing that, but he also has some enterprises up there on the Comstock and mining, and but you also have a hotel up there, right? Silverland Inn and Suites.
Yeah. Come up and spend the night there, 847-4484.
You know, it's been so beautiful up there in November this year.
Wonderful.
No moisture.
Wonderful.
Easy ride.
Indian summer.
Yeah. Indian summer. And up there you're above the dust and the smog and stuff.
Yeah.
And so the blue skies are blue and the moon is beautiful up there. So 847-4484. And then you have your Marshall Mint, but that's not open right now.
We'll reopen that here pretty soon. We got had a bad water problem.
Yeah, a lot of great things to see and buy in there, especially as the holidays come on.
Yeah.
Right? So Al, let's get to you. You are a native of Nevada.
Right, I'm a third generation.
Third generation.
Third generation here.
Pretty
in town.
amazing. You should get wear that on your shoulder.
Yeah, I'd be proud to wear that. Yeah.
That's kind of a rare
and
breed.
we're up to 5 generations here now.
5 generations.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So tell us about your family now, the roots. Before you came to Reno, and the Oppio family came to Reno, you were all over in Italy, right?
Well, I wasn't. Well, my grandparents on both sides were over in Italy.
Yeah.
And they were Santino Oppio.
Santino.
Which was 20 years old when he came to this country.
Okay.
And he was married over there at the time. But in those days, a lot of them left their wives behind for like 6 to 8 months or a year to establish a place to live. And then they sent for their wives and then they came over here.
Okay. As we saw, he came,
1896. He came over on a small boat.
Yeah.
That's when our grandparents would have been born right around that time.
Yeah, small boat. That picture there of the boat is pretty amazing.
Right.
So.
And at the time, you had to go to Ellis Island. That was part of the procedure.
Right.
And you had to apply for citizenship immediately. And you had a short amount of time, I'm saying a year and a half, to learn our country and then pass the test to become a citizen.
Yeah. You had to be able to speak English, right?
You had to learn.
You had to have certain health requirements.
Right.
Otherwise, they sent you back on the boat.
That's right. You couldn't be a sickly person, and you had to have, like you say, good health roots, you might say.
And a sponsor. So he gets off at Ellis Island in New York City.
Right.
And then they let him out into the country.
Well,
how the heck did he get to Nevada?
Well, what happened was you have to have someone here prior to when you came over, so you know where to go. So he did have to stay in Ellis Island for a period of time, and then he came to the Mapes Ranch, which Charlie Mapes, the same person that had the Mapes Hotel.
Mapes Hotel.
Right now, it's the University of Nevada Ranch.
Oh, okay.
And that's where my dad was born.
Okay.
On that ranch, and there was 5 brothers and 3 sisters at that time that finally became. All Oppios.
All Oppios there.
Right.
So when you say the University of Nevada Ranch, is that the site of the university now?
Yes.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah, right where the University Ranch is, right there on McCarran.
That's the agricultural property.
Oh, that's the McCarran. Oh, there. Yes, that University
Off
Ranch.
of that road they have the deal.
Sure.
Right where Mill meets McCarran. That's
there was a big milk ranch out there too, owned by who was that rancher? They had the big ranch house until just recently, and they tore it down because of flood control.
I can't remember the name offhand.
Hess or something. That was something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And when my grandfather came over here, he worked for a period of time and was able to save enough money to buy a small ranch on Glendale.
Okay.
Across from Cashman Caterpillar.
Oh, really? Right
and
there.
And then he accumulated around 250 acres over a period of years.
Okay.
And then he bought another ranch up during the Depression. Oh. He bought another ranch up on Sullivan and Wedekin, which was about 200 acres.
Okay. Do you know what they used to pay for ranches back in those days? What was an acre in those days?
Well, I know that the whole ranch was about $30,000 at the time.
Oh,
the one that he invested in on Glendale Road.
Yeah.
But you have to remember that was about 1920.
1920. That's still a pretty good amount of money.
That's a big chunk of money.
Yeah. But you were telling me that land down there was actually some really good land.
Those ranches.
Soil and everything.
Those ranches between the Truckee River and Glendale and McCarran on the east side are some of the best soil in the valley. Not a rock in it. River bottom, not a rock in it, and it grew potatoes and onions that you can't believe. And then later on, he got into dairy also. So he had a dairy farm also with everything else.
Yeah. So the whole family was there. They all operated together as a family, or they have separate ranches out here?
No, our family operated the Oppio Ranch as one separate, and part of them went up to the ranch on Sullivan in 1930, right after the Depression.
Okay. And what did they do? Were there different functions for the two ranches back in the day, or was it all for...
They basically raised about the same products, potatoes, onions, garlic, and alfalfa, and cattle.
Okay, cattle too, And so what did they do with all that produce? 250 acres of produce is a lot of produce.
Well, they didn't have it all in produce. They had maybe 50 acres in produce, and then a lot of it in hay for the cattle. A lot of it in hay for the dairy cows and that type of thing also.
But 50 acres in produce is a lot of...
That's a lot.
That's a lot of produce. So
they sold it to a lot of the markets in town.
Oh, in town. Okay.
In town.
Yeah, and what about supporting the work up there at the Comstock? Did they sell up there as well?
I can't tell you that, but I imagine they would come down, and they wouldn't deliver up there, but I'm sure that the people would come down from other neighboring cities and...
they come down to Geiger Grade and pick it up and haul it back up there on Geiger Grade.
Because remember at that time, and my dad used to tell me about that, in the early 30s, the Paiute Indians used to come to Reno and Sparks with a load of fish.
From Pyramid.
From Pyramid.
Yeah, right.
As the fish tried to go up the river at Pyramid, they would fork them onto a wagon and bring them to town and sell them in Reno and Sparks.
No kidding. Wow, that's amazing.
Like 20, 30-pound fish.
Wow.
They weren't small.
Yeah, I heard that. We did a show up at the Pyramid Lake Tribe, and they were showing us some photographs of the commercial fishing operation out there. That's how plentiful it was.
It was very plentiful.
Yeah, you don't catch fish like that now up there.
You periodically, but not like then.
Not like my biggest fish up there, and that's what made us take the show to TV, was a 32-incher. You know, and it was fun to catch.
It got bigger and bigger on the radio.
It got bigger and bigger as
that's great.
So you grew up on that ranch?
Well, I didn't grow up on the ranch, but my dad did.
Oh, I see.
And then when the war broke out, two of the brothers were drafted into the Army, one in the Army, one in the Navy, but they wanted a certain amount of the family to stay on the ranch to raise product for the community.
I see.
So they wouldn't take everybody.
All right.
And that was the way it was done then.
Okay. So you don't see that kind of farming going on in the Truckee Meadows today?
You don't see it because it's become a big time business, just like everything else has. And like, for example, the Perry family, which was an Italian family, had ranches here also. And the Perry brothers right now in Smith Valley have one of the biggest onion farms in the world, if you can believe that.
Oh, yeah.
Really? In Smith Valley?
Smith
Wow,
Valley.
how about that? That's amazing.
Yes,
because of the soil.
Because of the soil and everything, and they dig the produce right out of the ground.
Wow.
They wash it, bag it, and ship it right from there.
How about that? Yeah. Well, listen, we're gonna be taking a break here. I want to know about some of your cohorts in the ranch business back in the day. I know there's some big names that we're still talking about today besides the Oppios. So maybe you can tell us about those different families and some of their ranches. So anyway, we'll be back with more Old Tales Nevada, past and present, right after this message.
Everything is handpicked here at Precision Diamonds. All jewelry is handpicked here at Precision Diamonds.
Come to Precision Diamonds. I'll fix your jewelry just like new.
All of us at Shoeman's Custom Cycle are ready to get you and your Harley ready for the road. From oil and tire changes to high-performance engine upgrades and dyno tuning, we at Shoeman's have got you covered with experienced factory-certified mechanics and a full-service machine shop loaded with parts and accessories. Shoeman's Custom Cycle has been serving Northern Nevada since 1988. So ride on down to Shoeman's Custom Cycle at 275 East 4th Street in downtown Reno.
Shoeman's Custom Cycle, we're the biker's bike shop.
Hi, I'm Dan.
And I'm Paula. We're the producers of the Tanner's Marketplace Antique Show, now at the Reno Sparks Convention Center.
We also want you to know about our everyday location at Somewhere in Time, Antique Antiques, Space 46.
You'll find items from local artists, retro, mid-century, rustic, sports, collectibles, antiques, and much more.
You'll find Nevada art, glass, Native American jewelry, and baskets, unusual to unique items.
Find it all at Antique Antiques at Somewhere in Time, Dealer 46.
Having a piano in the home is the dream of many. What could be a better time to fulfill that dream than right now? It's the holiday season, and Carpenter's Music World wants to help with a special holiday sale on all new and quality pre-owned pianos. Carpenter's has brand names like Yamaha, Blüthner, and Steinway, with special financing on all pianos. Make your loved one dreams come true with a new piano from Carpenter's Music World, 1090 Kitsky Lane in Reno. It's Winterland at the Silverland Inn & Suites. Enjoy the relaxing, beautiful winter landscapes without the hustle and bustle of the city. The Silverland has a heated indoor pool, hot tub, and fabulous jacuzzi suites. Only 2 blocks from restaurants. Winter rates are now in effect, so make your reservation now and bring your camera and the whole family to the Silverland Inn & Suites for an experience you'll never forget. We're only 30 minutes from downtown Reno and Mount Rose Ski Resort. It's history at its best at the Silverland Inn & Suites in Virginia City.
We're back here in Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. We're talking with Al Oppio, a very famous family here and long-time family in Reno, Nevada. A big part of the development of Reno, actually. And we were talking about the ranch that you lived on over there off of Glendale. Did you go to the Glendale school?
Oh, my dad's family, the 8 sisters and brothers, went to the Glendale Schoolhouse, which was now located on Victorian and Sparks. They moved it over there.
They moved it, yeah. But when it used to be on Glendale, was that the original location? That was the original location. So your ranch surrounded that area.
It was the Glendale Schoolhouse was on the east side of the ranch.
East side of the ranch. Yeah. Okay, I got you. Yeah, that's interesting.
And how it used to work was in those old days that there was one teacher that did all the grades, and the older students helped the younger students learn in that classroom. And we're only talking 15, 20 people at that time. Reno was very small because at the corner of Prater Way and Pyramid Way there was a pheasant farm. And that was as far as the road went. It never went on any further east than Pyramid Way.
Isn't that something? So you used to get up in the morning and you look out your ranch. You had pretty good sized ranch house in the day. Is the ranch house still viable now, or is it?
The old ranch house is not there now.
It's gone.
Yeah, it's gone now.
Yeah. What did they do with that land eventually? Turned it into warehouse space?
Well, then, like everything, it sold for warehousing. That went to warehousing, and at the time, my cousin Alan Oppio ran the ranch. And then he bought the Gasperry Ranch out in Spanish Springs, continued to ranch out there, and then he sold that ranch and went to Idaho with the ranch. He's passed on right now.
Oh, is that right?
He's gone now, but very good hard-working rancher.
Yeah, you have to be hard-working to be on a ranch.
The thing is about these old ranches, they were 24/7. Christmas morning came, you were still out milking the cows at 4 in the morning. New Year's Eve came,
it works, all right.
Morning and night. So they had the old ranchers, whether they were Italian or not, they were all hard workers. They had to be.
Yeah, and they were probably big families too.
They were big families.
Like how many siblings did you have?
There was 8.
8 of you. Okay. Well, I came from a family of 6.
Right.
But we didn't have a ranch.
Yeah.
I've been curious about the early ranchers here, whether their families had many private cemeteries on the ranch.
No, there's none on the ranches that I know of. Mostly are like at our Mother of the Sorrows. A lot of Italian families went to Mother of the Sorrows and they're buried there.
Yeah. So you weren't the only Italian rancher in the area at that time. Who were some of the other names that
there was the Casanellis.
Casanellis
and the DePolis and a lot of small ranches in the valley that people could raise their own produce on. They had their chickens and a couple of cows for milk, and they raised their own produce too. Also, so
now I understand. Now where I have residence now is in the Donner Springs area, around the Rattlesnake Mountain area, and I understand that at one time was very wet because of the Truckee River. It had kind of a natural dam in the early days.
There was a lot of swampland down there. The short Short family, they weren't Italians, but the Short family had a big ranch down there right around Rattlesnake Hill.
Rattlesnake. So in order to bring that water level down, I heard they went on to the Truckee and blew up that natural dam, whatever it was. Were you aware of that?
I've heard a lot of stories, different stories about it, but they got rid of all of that water. And
so
it's still a low-lying area, though.
Yeah. So when all that occurred, did that affect like your ranching opportunities and produce?
We were high enough in the valley that it didn't affect us, but those lower ranches, and then the Deanda Ranch, and the Pawnee Ranch, out by where Northern Nevada Hospital is now.
Oh yeah,
that was also a ranching area.
Okay.
Not quite as good a soil as down by the river, but the Deanda Ranch, which Norman Deanda that has Shindy Construction.
Yeah.
He was part, and Tony. Those were the two boys.
Okay.
And Pete Deanda, the dad.
They done well for themselves. Talking about hard-working folks.
Yeah.
So did you, when you left the ranch, did you start some other business for yourself? I mean,
I actually wasn't on the ranch. My dad was on the ranch.
Dad was
Albert,
on the ranch.
my dad. He went into Reno and started Sierra Sporting Goods there on 2nd Street.
Oh.
And then up the street was Chetling Piazzo.
Italians.
They had the Sportsmen.
Oh yeah.
And so what happened was at the time is that not a big family like that all could stay on the ranch. There wasn't enough income for all of them to be there. So some went to town, got other jobs. My dad started the Sporting Goods.
Yeah.
And my uncle was in business in downtown Reno, also Santino. He was named after my grandfather. He worked for the assessor's office, and they all went on to things like that.
Different things.
My Aunt Gloria had the Bowlerium, which was a bowling alley in Sparks, and the Dinner Bell.
Oh, really?
She went on to that. And then there was Linda, which was the second oldest daughter, and then Louise came from Italy with her mom, which was Caterina Casagrande.
There's an Italian name for you. Yeah. I can imagine what the ranch house was like. You say you weren't on the ranch, though. Did you?
I saw all the ranch houses when I was a young boy. My dad would take me to see his mom.
Okay. Well, if you weren't on the ranch, where were you? Because you said you went to Glendale School.
Well, I didn't go to Glendale School. It was my dad's 8.
Your dad's 8.
That was the second generation.
I see. Okay. I'm catching up with you now.
Yeah. So.
But I imagine when the Oppio family got together for a good Italian meal. You couldn't find better cooking.
It was always a big get together, and especially Eugene, which has passed away now about 5 years. He was the youngest of the boys in the family. They used to have big get-togethers at the ranch house there on Wedekin Road.
Wedekin Road, yeah. It was a pretty good size home, and it was.
It was kind of an interesting story on going back to the original family, my dad's brothers and sisters. They all used to like to play baseball a lot. And in those days there was baseball and basketball. There wasn't all these other things that went on.
Right.
And there wasn't a baseball field in Sparks that was really a baseball field.
Oh, okay.
So right now where the city hall is in Sparks, on Prater Way, that was called Burgess Field. My dad's family, the boys, all went over there with the equipment that they had from the ranch, and they built that baseball field for no charge. It was just, they loved to play baseball. And from then on, kind of an interesting thing was when I was in playing baseball when I was in not grammar school, but high school and what have you. We used to play at Burgess Field. That's the field that my dad's family built.
Isn't that amazing,
Wow, it all kind of
what a connection,
back,
huh?
Right?
Yeah, I imagine
people did that in those days to help the community.
Yeah, they do a lot of things for free.
They did.
And a lot of the old families are still giving back to the community because they did so well from their early activities, So that must have been when you think about Sparks, what we see today out there compared to what you saw when you were a youngster. I mean, it must have just been wide open, no trees, right? Back in the day.
When I was in high school, I graduated in 1963. My brother and I lived with my mom and dad on Sullivan Lane, where the tennis court is now. We used to be able to walk from that school, or from that house to school, to Sparks High School, and never cross like Audie Boulevard, and it was all fields.
It's just fields.
All the way across there.
How beautiful that would have been.
It was a small town still then. Of course, that was in the early '60s.
Yeah. What do you think about all the changes in Reno happening.
The first thing I want to say is you need progress.
Yes.
You need progress.
Yeah.
But I remember my dad always saying, my dad's been gone for almost 30 years now, but he used to say, I can't believe what's happening to our town, because he knew it when there was nothing.
Yeah.
And I used to always tell him when I was young, Dad, you have to have progress to make the community go.
Yeah.
And now I can kind of see where he was coming from, because I see it now.
Yeah.
The old quality families, there's still some there, but we have people in our area that are just here for themselves.
Yeah.
And the old values that we used to have are kind of going by the wayside, except for the old timers that
Very true, very true.
Yeah. So you had all these ranches. You had Capurro was another. Cazaza.
Cazaza
was a big. I think the guy's name with the dairy farm was Jacobson.
You're correct.
He was just over that bridge.
Right.
There was a bridge. There was some kind of toll or bridge or something that separated Reno and Sparks, close to where your ranch was. There
was. Are you familiar that there used to be a streetcar that ran between the Reno and Sparks?
Yeah, we heard about
Went
that.
down Prater Way and that.
Right.
So they had the roundhouse in Sparks that a lot of people went to work to at the time.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, where that ranch was, that dairy ranch, close to where your ranch was, there was some kind of crossing there. Across the river.
The only crossing that I knew was Lakes Crossing there, where Virginia Street is now.
That was the only one you knew of?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe that was something that came on later. I don't know. Or before. It could have been before, too.
Al, when you were just a youngster, did you notice that there was a lot of flooding here in the area?
Oh, yes.
Did your land get flooded?
Well, we didn't have the river control like we have now. In 1950 was the big flood.
Yeah.
Flooded the Mapes Hotel, flooded all of Virginia Street.
Right.
But what used to happen, you used to plug up with logs and everything, debris, and they didn't have the equipment to pull out to grab the logs like they do now. Now they have the new bridge, which is a lot better, but they had the pillars that went down in the center of the river, and the water used to go right down Virginia Street. Almost up to the arch, if you can believe it.
Yeah. But you weren't on the ranch then, but I imagine that land probably did flood out there in the Sparks area.
Right where the old ranch house was, across from Cashman Caterpillar. My dad had an old 41 Dodge Power Wagon in the day, and he used to go down and take his mom and dad off the porch steps when the water got high enough, and they used to bring them in. But it used to flood really
a lot down
in that area.
All over. They have seem to have a better handle on it now.
I seen it in my helicopter one time. I had the city mayor and the area
overlooking it. Yeah, wow.
It flooded the whole area, but Norm helped out. Norm helped a lot.
Well, listen, we got to take another break. Great story so far about the history of Reno here and the ranches that were here in the day and the lay of the land. So we'll be back with more Old Tales in Nevada right after we hear from a couple of our great sponsors that have been with us for almost 10 years. So stay tuned.
For over 30 years, the Book Gallery has been serving its customers with a wide selection of books, comics, and DVDs. They specialize in Western Americana, sci-fi, romance, and general fiction. Be sure to ask about their trade policy. 30 years and going strong, the Book Gallery, 1203 North Rock Boulevard in Sparks.
A proud sponsor of Old Tales in Nevada, past and present.
For our cold winter days, jackets and vests are the perfect answer. Faux fur and faux leather are the strong fabrics for this season. Team them with maxi skirts for a beautiful seasonal look. All of this and so much more at Boutique Elegante. The beautiful fall colors are being duplicated in the fall collection of fashions at Boutique Elegante. Sweaters are either in the crayon colors for fall or soft muted shades in bark and beige. All of this and so much more at Boutique Elegante.
All of us at Shoeman's Custom Cycle are ready to get you and your Harley ready for the road. From oil and tire changes to high-performance engine upgrades and dyno tuning, we at Shoeman's have got you covered with experienced factory-certified mechanics and a full-service machine shop loaded with parts and accessories. Shoeman's Custom Cycle has been serving Northern Nevada since 1988, so ride on down to Shoeman's Custom Cycle at 275 East 4th Street in downtown Reno.
Shoeman's Custom Cycle, we're the biker's bike shop.
Somewhere in Time is the place to find what will be treasured for all time. It's a huge store filled with trains and models, collectibles, art, antiques, and more. You might say they have everything under the sun. Almost. Come see it to believe it at Somewhere in Time in Reno.
Deluxe Travel, locally owned and operating since 1991, is the home for travel to Mexico and Central and South America. The crew at Deluxe Travel is bilingual, trustworthy, thorough, and caring. They will do everything possible to make your dream vacation the best it can be. Now is the time to book for winter travel, so stop by the office at 100 California Avenue or call 686-7000. You can also check us out on our website at deluxetravelLTD.com.
At Deluxe Travel, we sell dreams. Come in and plan yours.
We're back here for our third segment of Old Tales Nevada, Past and Present. Just to remind everybody who we are, I'm John O'Brien, the host of the show. Roy Marshall, our executive producer. Our special guest today, Al Oppio, part of the original families right here in the valley, and helped develop the area, which is fabulous. And we love talking about the old days here in Reno, Nevada. So you had all these big ranches, and then eventually they started to sell off their land. Was there a big developer that came in and saw the future, and maybe he didn't develop it right away, but he wanted to buy the land? Was there anybody like that?
Well, the Dermody Corporation is the one who had a lot of property on where the old ranch is and the warehousing is down.
Okay, and he bought it on the come. He just figured that it was a good thing to buy.
It was a good thing to do. Yeah. And then up on the Sullivan Ranch, the Meadowvale subdivision came in, and they bought those 200 and some acres up there.
Okay.
And
so how did the family come out pretty well? Did they make some decent, not like today probably?
You could, at that time, I know that the old ranch there up on Sullivan, which was 200 acres, sold for $750,000.
Wow.
Which was a big money then.
Yes.
But now it wouldn't buy very much.
No, not really.
Lance Gilman was a realtor of that area.
Yeah.
Oh, was he out there?
He sure was.
Yeah.
But you have to remember, in those days, you could buy a new home for $14,000.
There you go. It's all relative, correct? Yeah.
It's all relative.
So that's good.
$3,000.
Yeah.
So what business did you get into after, as you grew up?
Well, my dad started Sierra Sporting Goods in 1946 in Reno.
Okay, so you got involved there.
And we were involved with there. I used to string tennis rackets for him when I was a kid. And then he moved to Sparks with his business. And then when he retired, my brother and I, Francis Oppio, built a new building down in McCarran and Glendale. We moved a marine shop down there, and my brother's still active in that. And, and then I just recently retired from Al's Rod and Custom, which is a fabrication.
Yeah, you were right on the corner there, the marine.
That's right.
Yeah, the boat.
Right.
Okay, that was you.
That was way before McCarran Boulevard even went in. Then McCarran came in, and everything started to.
That's amazing. Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting story on the ranch up on Sullivan. When the Depression broke out, people were really hurting.
Yeah.
My grandfather lent. The owners of the Sullivan Lane Ranch, which was the 200 acres up on the north side of town, needed some money, so he lent them the money, and it was due at a certain date to come back. And he never could come up with it, so he gave the ranch to my grandfather at the time because he didn't have the money.
Oh, wow.
And so that's how he acquired that ranch. But times were tough during the Depression.
Yeah.
My dad graduated in 1933 from Sparks High School.
Wow.
And that was a tough time. I remember my dad telling me when he was on the ranch on Glendale down there that when the Depression first broke out, people were happy to work just for a meal.
Yeah.
They had a bunkhouse, and they had like 10 to 15 employees, you might call them ranch hands, just to work for food.
Yeah, yeah.
They were happy. They would say, just give me food, and they worked hard all day long.
So your family was fortunate enough to own those two ranches.
My grandfather
without any
paid
mortgage
for that ranch when he was younger, so.
Yeah, that's an Italian for you.
Yeah.
That's what they do, right?
Yeah, he paid for it, so he didn't have to make payments at that time. I don't think I don't know if he even could make payments in those days. I think you had to have the money.
Yeah. So who were some of the huge, you had, 250 acres is not a small spread, but I'm sure there were larger ranchers in town. Quillisi, was that a?
Quillisi had ranches at the south end of town.
South end of town. Was it a big?
The Capuros also had ranches down there.
Yeah.
And then the Capuros that were on the north side of town were in relation to the south side Capuros. They were different.
Okay.
And then the Galts up there on the north side, they had Galt Ranch.
Okay.
So those are some of the bigger ranches.
Now, when you say big ranch, what you would consider big, how many acres are we talking about?
200 acres in those days was pretty good.
That was pretty good size, huh? Yeah. So like DeMonte down south?
DeMonte, they had a tremendous amount of acreage down there. A lot of it was low-lying swampland, like we talked about before.
Right.
They couldn't use it all. They ran a lot of cattle down there because they could eat the grass and what have you, but it wasn't any good really for growing anything.
Because it was kind of alkali, wasn't it?
Alkali and swampy.
Yeah, because
what about the Peckham Ranch? It was
Peckham, there was a Peckham Ranch down there. And
who owned that? The Peckham Ranch?
Peckham Ranch was owned by Carmelas.
Oh, the Carmelas.
Carmelas were involved with Reno Disposal at one time.
Yeah, you know it's crazy. You go down on Peckham, you still see the horses and some cows.
Yeah, you do.
I guess they're grandfathered in. They can't make a move, right? So.
Well, yeah, and another interesting story about how ranches became about in the old days when my dad was down on Glendale Road, just after he graduated from high school. Holcomb Lane on south of Reno.
Yeah.
That rancher also needed some money. He came to my grandfather, and for $5,000, he gave him the ranch upon it was something like 150 acres for $5,000 as collateral.
Yeah.
And there was, of course, on that end, there's hardly any soil. It's all mostly for grazing because a lot of rocks.
A lot of rocks, wet.
My grandfather looked at my dad and he says, "You're going to have to leave the ranch here and go run that one up there on Holcomb Lane." And my dad says, "What are we going to do with another ranch?" And I think they sold it for $10,000.
They sold it for $10,000.
Money, but that was a pretty good sized ranch too. But it was all rocks.
So they went in there and built homes there.
Yeah.
That
all
became
that turned into home development.
Yeah, and Wilbur May. Did you have any interaction with the Wilbur May and those? Those ranchers,
no, I don't.
Those were pretty good sized spreads.
They were pretty good sized. I never did have too much communication with them.
Yeah. So I guess as you look back at it, did most you say some went bankrupt or whatever, but if they made it through the Depression, did most of them prosper pretty well?
Yeah, they did.
Modern days.
They did do well in the ranching after that. The ranch up on Sullivan was also acquired by a loan that they couldn't pay back.
You were saying that. Yeah.
And one thing I left out of that is kind of funny that the main ranch house burned down just after my grandfather took over.
Oh, really?
Wow. And suspicion that
somebody did it on purpose.
Somebody did it on purpose.
Why would they do that?
Because they had to give up their ranch.
Oh, they just were mad and disappointed.
They were disappointed. They probably couldn't have it back.
Somebody did that to the Wilbur May Ranch house too.
They did.
Yeah, they say it was somebody after Lance Gilman's company bought it. They were going to use that as their their office.
Right.
And somebody went in there and they figured it was arson and burned down the ranch house.
A lot of that stuff went on in those days.
Yeah, and a lot of artifacts got lost.
A lot of those people were hardworking people. They didn't want to lose their ranches, but they just didn't have the dollars to get back.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
So did you ever, was there any kind of a cattlemen's association or ranchers association where all the ranchers would get together and talk about what Reno was going to be? And
there wasn't any associations at the time, but a lot of the ranchers used to get together when it came harvest time. They used to help each other.
Okay.
Time to harvest potatoes, they'd all get together on this ranch, and then there was hay at the next ranch, and they would all help each other. My grandfather was very fortunate that he could afford some of the early tractors and get rid of the horses and that type of thing.
Yeah.
And they did a lot of help with a lot of the other, they all got together and helped each other out.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Now, another ranch that I was curious about, or an area I was curious about, is the Hidden Valley area. That was a huge ranch too, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was, but it was also in that low-lying area that we were talking about.
Yeah.
And mostly grazing out there. It wasn't a lot of produce or anything.
I heard there was like a lettuce farm out there that is now the Hidden Valley Country Club.
Yeah, there was one there, and also my uncle Serafin Garaventa on Stanford Way, where it meets McCarran now. Mm-hmm. That was also a produce ranch, and he was also from Genoa.
Yeah, I heard the lettuce ranch went bankrupt eventually. it didn't do as well as they thought it would do. Yeah. So anyway, that's just great. Now, did these ranches did they just service basically Reno? Or they must have. Well, you said one ranch became worldwide, or with the onions and stuff.
Yeah, that came in the later years, probably after the 1960s.
Oh, okay.
But the early ranchers just they serviced mostly our own area.
You just do, and they could do well enough.
Yeah,
with that.
They would service Verdi and Truckee and stuff where people could come in.
How many ranches do you think were here in total at the peak of the ranch?
Oh, there probably
business?
was, I would say, 70 or 80 ranches.
Oh, okay.
I have a map, and I probably should have brought it.
That broke it down.
I have a map of the old ranches, actually, and then the print of the new ranches that came later over the top of the old ranches.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And
cool.
It's quite interesting.
Now, I heard that the ranchers, even though there was a river that runs through the valley, they had to bring more water in different ways. In fact, these irrigation ditches that we see running around here and there, I heard that was done by ranchers.
Right. The number one was Steamboat Ditch, which starts way up the canyon, almost at Verdi. Then there was the Last Chance Ditch that's lower in the valley. There was the Ore Ditch on the other side.
Okay. Did you have to tap into that at all?
All the ranchers did use those ditches.
They did use them for different reasons.
Right. They couldn't pull, in the Glendale Ditch was another one. They couldn't pull out of the river. It was too low. So they had all these irrigation ditches that I just mentioned. They all fed down into the valley.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And they're mostly all of them are still going. As long as there's one rancher that still needs that water, they have to run that ditch.
They have to keep it, so they're grandfathered in there.
They're grandfathered in.
Yeah, well, and then you had the creeks would run down from the mountains too. I imagine they used all that kind of water as well, right?
Yeah. They did also. Then a lot of them run in like on the west side and the south side. All the creeks from up there that were able to ran into like the Steamboat Ditch, which serviced the south side of the valley. Okay.
Yeah, because when I see some early pictures of Reno, like I saw this picture, still sticks in my mind, Plum Lane, Plum Lane, and I'm looking at it, and there was absolutely no trees. It was just hills with sagebrush.
That's it.
That's the way most of Reno was back in the day.
Very
unbelievable.
Sparse,
So man,
and the only trees you really had were along the river itself.
Yeah, the cottonwoods, right? Yeah, there you go. So what a change! It
was really under the water during 500-600 years ago.
Probably, yeah. It was a lake, right?
Sure. The Indians were living all along the sides of it.
Yeah, that's true. We're going to be back with our last segment of Old Tales of Nevada right after we hear from a couple more of our sponsors, and stay tuned.
For over 30 years, the Book Gallery has been serving its customers with a wide selection of books, comics, and DVDs. They specialize in Western Americana, sci-fi, romance, and general fiction. Be sure to ask about their trade policy. 30 years and going strong, the Book Gallery, 1203 North Rock Boulevard in Sparks.
A proud sponsor of Old Tales of Nevada, past and present.
Everything is handpicked here at Precision Diamonds. All jewelry is handpicked here at Precision Diamonds.
Come to Precision Diamonds. I'll fix your jewelry just like new.
Hey everybody, Dave Asher here down at the Nevada Marketplace in the Reno Town Mall. We all spend a lot of money during the holiday season. Please, this year, shop with Nevada-based locally owned businesses as much as possible. Here at the Nevada Marketplace, we support over 250 local merchants. You're sure to find a perfect gift for everyone on your list. We're open 7 days a week with easy parking, and it's warm inside. We're at the corner of Peckham and Virginia. Go to buynevadafirst.com and keep Reno local.
Somewhere in Time is the place to find what will be treasured for all time. It's a huge store filled with trains and models, collectibles, art, antiques, and more. You might say they have everything under the sun. Almost. Come see it to believe it at Somewhere in Time in Reno. Having a piano in the home is the dream of many. What could be a better time to fulfill that dream than right now? It's the holiday season, and Carpenter's Music World wants to help with a special holiday sale on all new and quality pre-owned pianos. Carpenter's has brand names like Yamaha, Buechner, and Steinway, with special financing on all pianos. Make your loved one's dreams come true with a new piano from Carpenter's Music World, 1090 Kitsky Lane in Reno.
Come to Precision Diamonds. I'll fix your jewelry just like new.
It's Winterland at the Silverland Inn and Suites. Enjoy the relaxing, beautiful winter landscapes without the hustle and bustle of the city. The Silverland has a heated indoor pool, hot tub, and fabulous jacuzzi suites. Only 2 blocks from restaurants. Winter rates are now in effect, so make your reservation now and bring your camera and the whole family to the Silverland Inn and Suites for an experience you'll never forget. We're only 30 minutes from downtown Reno and Mount Rose Ski Resort. It's history at its best at the Silverland Inn and Suites in Virginia City.
We're back here for our last segment of Old Tales of Nevada, Past and Present, talking about the early days of Reno and talking with Al Oppio and his ranch and his family and the great things they did here in the valley. Must have been so much fun to be part of that family and hear about the history and how
it was, and life wasn't as complicated as it is today.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so things they didn't have.
The making of America too at that time.
Yeah. So you know, it's funny. The valley, pretty much cattle, produce, agricultural community, and then it started to change. Right. It became, you know, a different town over time. And do you remember when the casino business began to flourish here in town?
The Carano family came from Northern California and the vineyards and up in that area, and brought their dollars to here and built casinos. And
I did not know that. They were in the business.
The wineries,
Yeah, okay. I thought that was a more recent
they're still
thing.
involved in that. In Northern California.
They have some pretty good wine, actually. Yeah. Did you make wine? Did your family make wine on the ranch out there?
I never, not personally myself, but my grandfather always made wine, and my dad made wine
in the basement,
also.
right? Down in the basement.
And the Portuguese family, all of them that made wine.
Yeah.
They all had their few barrels of wine.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we had this lady on who talked about the Pounding subdivision, which is, you know, south of town, down by your sporting goods store and everything. And they said all these bungalows that they built were sure to have a place to make wine in the basement.
They always had a wine cellar.
The wine cellar, yeah, they absolutely did. So it must have been fun times back in the day.
It was enjoyable.
Right. Yeah. So,
you know, I got a question for Al. Al, as far as what you saw during your time here, the farms and ranches that were here, were any of them part of the old farms and ranches from the 1800s that were servicing Virginia City? We met the one family that made ice out of some of the water.
Right.
Yeah, out there, out of Boca.
They used they used to, talking about the ice, they used to make ice, and we had a lot colder winters than we do now.
That too,
Used to have some nasty winters here, didn't you?
Down at the ranch, or up at the ranch on Sullivan, my grandfather built a probably about a 2,000 square foot building with sawdust walls that were 24 inches wide.
Yeah, right.
And they used to go, they had a small reservoir, they used to cut blocks of ice. And they used to stack them in that.
Yeah, and they'd last for a long time.
They'd last till spring, if you can believe it.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah, we had that story about ice harvesting. It was one of our first shows. I was blown away by the technology.
And the big ice house on the railroad in Sparks where they used to load the Southern Pacific used to load all the ice.
Yeah, and they made millions of dollars doing that kind of business, right?
Yeah, they did.
Nevada's always had entrepreneurs.
They always have that. Yeah.
So the first casinos, you were probably pretty young then. You weren't even around when the first casinos.
I wasn't, but Dad has told me stories when he was here about Bill Hara.
Yes.
Yeah, on Virginia Street. He was one of the first that had a bingo parlor, is how he started.
He started with a bingo
parlor.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Look at him now.
Yeah.
Major corporation.
Major corporation, and they all started in Nevada Club.
Yeah.
Started way back then too, you know, Harold's Club. And
was the Riverside there at that time?
Riverside was one of the first,
And the Mapes finally came in.
Across the street.
So the Mapes family that had the farm turned to the casino business. Is that the same
They
family?
had the ranch for a long time as they built the Mapes Hotel also.
Okay, all right.
At the same time.
Yeah,
but
amazing.
They had a lot going. They had a lot of foresight into the future and what was going on.
Sure.
And you know the big
brought to town.
Oh, that for sure.
You know the big thing for Reno too. You know, was the divorce capital of the world at one time.
Yeah,
you know,
and there was a lot of those.
That was a big deal because you could come here right away and get
dude ranches.
That's right. A lot of dude ranches. They had to stay. I don't think for.
You didn't get involved in that with your family at all. That was before
they were just interested in growing the.
Now, who had the ranch where the airport is located today? Was that the Short Ranch?
That was a short ranch.
It was the Short Ranch. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a pretty good size spread.
Yeah, that was a pretty good size ranch.
Yeah.
Also.
So, how did you feel about that? I mean, seeing an airport come right into, well, it wasn't the middle of the city then.
No, it was some of the land that wasn't quite so desirable for farming.
It wasn't,
huh? Yeah.
Huh.
It was the lower
They wanted to build
line,
a strip just like down in Vegas next to the airport. That's what their idea was.
Oh, but they didn't quite get there.
Well, Brian and them were working on it, but they were a little bit
what was
further
the
away.
Genesis of the name Plum Lane? Was there a rancher named Plum? Or
you know,
something?
I can't tell you that. I really don't know how that was named.
But McCarran, he was a
McCarran
senator.
Senator McCarran. They also had the McCarran Ranch down the canyon.
Yeah. Do you have a road named after you? Your family?
We have Oppio Street there in Sparks.
Yeah,
there
you go, sure.
And it's been since the 60s,
And Cesar has his shopping center.
Has his shopping center.
And a road named after him.
We have a Linda Way in Sparks, which was named after my aunt.
Oh, no kidding.
On the old ranch down there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wonderful. So, claim to fame, right?
Yeah,
legacy.
I guess that's what you call it.
All right, yeah, for sure. So what do you do with your time nowadays?
Well, I retired from Al's Rod and Custom 3 years ago, and I'm just enjoying myself now and taking it easy. And
going fishing?
Doing fishing, and don't do quite as much hunting as I used to do. My brother still does, but I love to fish at Pyramid Lake.
Yeah.
It's
do you have a boat? Do you go out on a boat?
Go out on a boat, and do very well out there with some nice fish. My brother's son, my nephew, caught a 22-pound last winter with 18s, and last weekend he caught an 18 and 16 out of Pyramid Lake.
Good size.
Now, what side are they fishing? I mean, can you give away some secrets here? Because
well, it depends on the very shallow water. Now, they caught those 2 big fish in 7 feet of water because the water's cold right now.
Where on would that be on the north end?
It's all on the west side right now.
On the west side.
The west side, and then the south side by where the Truckee River comes in.
Yeah. That's where I caught my big fish.
Place called Dago Bay down there. That's really good.
Yeah.
Down there.
A lot of ups and downs there.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah,
and
so what do you fish with when you go out there? Just
to
give our fishermen a chance.
You have to use artificial lures. We use a lot of flatfish.
Flatfish, yeah. What
Pyramid's
color?
Funny. Well, Pyramid's funny, if you have one that's, they call a frog, like a F6 or a U20.
Yeah.
It might be really hot this weekend and go out next weekend and they won't even touch it.
Yeah.
So you got to keep trying different things.
It's so quiet.
You gotta have
it's like, what happened?
Yeah.
You got your fish finder, right? And you're seeing all these fish and nothing's biting.
You can see them and they're not hitting it.
Man,
And, but that's one thing, for my nephew's business at Sierra Sport Marine and Sparks. He's got a fishing guide service out at Pyramid Lake.
Oh, he does? So he knows what he's doing.
It's called the Happy Hooker.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that boat.
Yeah. And he's done very well. People come from California to fish with him.
Really?
And he's licensed by the tribe.
So he doesn't get skunked very often then.
He does really well.
He does really well. Yeah.
With the fishing equipment that we have out there now, it's really a lot different than it used to be. If you catch a nice fish, you can set your GPS.
Yeah.
If you can believe that.
Yeah.
And the small trolling engine will bring you right to that spot next weekend.
No kidding.
But that doesn't mean you're going to catch it.
That was always
That's the way to do it.
The hard thing is to remember exactly where you were.
My dad in the sporting goods in Sierra Sporting Goods in Reno on 2nd Street that he started in 1946. He used to fish Lake Tahoe for the Mackinac a lot.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't have all these fancy equipment that they have now.
Right.
You had to look at a cabin down the shore, line up with another house on this side, and then fish that shelf and get the right depth.
Yeah.
So it was really a science to it.
You had to line it up for sure.
And he was real good at that.
We used to. That's the big thing about Pyramid is fishing those shells.
Yeah.
In different areas there. Yeah, I had a good friend. We did it for about 10 years. We'd go out there often, but he's gotten older and the boat's become a planter of some sort in the front yard, like most boats, right?
Like most boats.
Oh, I told him about my fish. Yeah.
Did you?
Yes, I did. Yeah. And that was the guy I fished with all those years never caught anything like that, you know. And I was using his equipment and everything too. So it was kind of funny. He got very jealous after that. So family is thriving. Your family? How many siblings or children do you have?
Well, I have my brother and myself and our family. Then I have a son and daughter.
Okay. And they involved in business in town?
Yeah, my son.
He's got the Sierra Marine?
My brother has Sierra Marine with his son, my nephew, and then my son, I retired, my son took over Al's Rod and Custom in Sparks.
Okay.
And we're dealing a lot in Hot August Nights.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big thing, and this is my 34th year as a volunteer for Hot August Nights.
Oh, okay. You and Jim Webster.
Jim Webster. One of us are the first.
Do you have any collector cars?
Yes, I have 7 different ones.
7 cars. Yeah. What's your favorite?
I have a couple 41 Willys, highly modified
41
Willys that are
very nice.
Yeah, a couple 55 Chevys, one truck and car, and a 32 Roadster, Corvette. You know, those type of things.
So once you get the bug, huh?
Well,
it's hard to let it go.
And I really enjoy it. I enjoy. I'm on the car committee and the check-in committee, and I enjoy talking to the people that come to our area.
Yeah.
You know, and we go up to Virginia City. We do the show
the
week before.
Yeah.
It's been a real success up there for Hot August Nights and the people up there.
Yeah, we had a great.
It sells out. It sells out.
Absolutely.
Up there.
Yeah, we were sold out at the hotel for days at a time because of Hot August Nights.
Right.
So we love it.
Yeah,
and the people are so nice.
Oh,
quality people.
They're all quality people. If you're driving along the road and there's a classic pulled over, another classic guy will do what he has to get you going.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So if you want to go out for a great Italian meal in Reno, Nevada, where do you go?
I go to Johnny's.
You go to Johnny's
Restaurante, it's called now.
Oh, it is.
Used to be Johnny's Little Italy. Then his son took over, and his son is doing, I have to say, I think a better job than his dad.
No kidding, really?
The food is fantastic.
No kidding, really. And you feel it's authentic, right?
Yeah, oh, it is.
Is it northern or southern Italian?
I would say it's about middle of the way.
Middle of the way, because there is a big difference.
Yeah, you can get the southern dishes, you can get the northern dishes.
Yeah, oh, that's wonderful. Well, I have to go back up there. I haven't done that forever, because he never advertises, so you never know. You had to decide that in mind.
Business.
There's no parking if that tells you something.
You don't need to advertise, right? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, so if you're new to town, that's a great place to go, yeah. What other place closer to town? Is there a secondary place?
There's an Italian restaurant in Sparks, Pietro's. Pietro's on Victorian.
Okay.
Very good Italian restaurant. Good. And he does a good thing. It's all homemade.
Oh, nice.
And
check it out.
They got music. Check that out.
What's your favorite dish?
I like the good old spaghetti.
Spaghetti and a meatball.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, Al, thanks so much for being with us today. We appreciate it very much.
I enjoyed
being
here.
Great history. You should write a book.
We're getting a better and better picture of the
Several people have told me I should write some of this stuff down.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to give you the show. You can put it in your safety deposit box, and then the kids can pull that out anytime they want, and they can hear the story.
Perfect.
Right here in Old Tales, Nevada.
Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure. So thank you, Al. Thank you, Roy, for bringing the show to us every week for the last 10 years, and we especially like to thank our audience as well. And invite you.
And our camera guy over here, he's such a great guy.
We watched him grow old.
Comes over here on his lunch hour, huh?
That's right. So anyway, thank the audience for being with us. Invite you back next week for another episode of Old Tales in Nevada, past and present. In the meantime, for Al, for you, Roy, myself, we wish you a great Nevada day. We'll see you soon.
Under blue Nevada sky, the hot sun in his eye, Roy walked the elk and wild horse trail. Studied earth and sand, with a shovel in his hand. Struck bonanza, gold and silver, platinum ore. Was an old miner's code for good luck to name the strike, so we called it the martial law.